So here we are, Leadfoot Ranch.
So everyone back in your cars, we're going up to the barn just around the corner.
There's quite a few tricky corners, so my biggest suggestion to everybody is just spend all day enjoying the road and you'll learn something new every run. We've seen too many times in the past where people have made, really bonehead mistakes on the first run because they don't know which way the corners go. I laid the course out. It's not a straight line. It needs to be interesting, and it is.
Steph in front of us in his E91. So this is just a familiarization run, and then obviously we've been split into two groups, A and B. I'm in group B, and we'll come up obviously individually with 30-second intervals. Hopefully the person behind me is not 30 seconds faster than me. But anyway, this is a nice little look for you around Leadfoot Ranch. A leisurely pace. Beautiful, beautiful place. You can tell us rookies because even though there's no one else coming, we're still staying left. But we've got to go around the roundabout here and let everybody else come back down. So I don't know why, but they've put me with all the Porsches and the R8, the M4. fastest yet. The ute. That'd be right, the ute driver's the most aggressive so far.
To start off with the little Mazda RX-3, during the 70s, I drove this car in the New Zealand Rally Championship and won the series in 75, 76, 77. And then after that moved to the States. This is not the exact same car. My brother-in-law recreated this car here, but it's sort of bringing back all the old memories, the old sponsors. You know, cigarette sponsors and all that stuff. It's very cool. It has a 13V triple port engine, 330 horsepower, 6-speed sequential. So it's certainly not the old car that it was. The RX-7 over here in in the US, we did the US Rally Series. We won it in '81 with two-wheel drive RX-7 against the early front-wheel drive Quattros, and then of course '82 the Audi four-wheel drive Quattro came out and just cleaned us up. In '83 we developed our first four-wheel drive RX-7. It was pretty good. This was the third car that we built, and in '85 it won the manufacturer's title against the Audi factory team. So it worked out really good, and this car is pretty much original, just as we raced it last in '85. Next to that is the Group B RX-7 two-wheel drive. I drove for Mazda Europe a couple of times, a couple of World Championship events in Europe, and I had to go back to two-wheel drive. Strangely enough, this car is heavier than our four-wheel drive car, and the last event we did was the RAC rally in England in '85. And it was snow and ice event, so it was quite a challenge to go back to two-wheel drive. This car is actually owned by my oldest son. He found it in Belgium and shipped it down here as a surprise. I don't know whether I own it. Hang on, I own the barn, so I must. Next to it is his Reese's backflip truck. He did the backflip in this truck at New Year's Eve in Las Vegas. Yeah, that must be 15 odd years ago. I was never a supporter of that, so it sits here in the barn. Down the end there is the Toyota Tundra. We raced the Midwest Series throughout the US up against Ford Chevy teams. In those days I had a really great relationship with Toyota, and the CEO of Toyota said, "Rod, what can we do to try to break into the full-size truck market?" Ford and Chevy and Dodge, completely controlled that. So Toyota was coming out with their first V8. So we built a couple of those trucks in '99 and 2000. In 2000 we won 6 of 10 races. So it's the multi-valve Tundra motor, which is very similar to the Lexus motor, except it's cast iron block and bigger. Some 650 horsepower. It has 5-speed manual and of course 4-wheel drive. This little truck here, I drove for Toyota for 4 years in the Mickey Thompson off-road series, which is stadium racing. In the US it was really popular in the late 80s and early 90s. We would race inside the stadium, Anaheim Stadium, LA Coliseum, the Rose Bowl, and places like that, where they would truck the dirt in and make all the jumps. So you're in a pretty tiny, football stadium, and there would be 10 or a dozen trucks would line up and take the flag, and it was entertaining motorsports. There was a lot of pushing and shoving and trucks rolling over, and it was never high speed. You were going from one jump to the next. So I won the championship 3 years in that, and interesting, this truck, it's got one forward gear and reverse, and a torque converter, so it sits at maximum RPM. It's like a CVT, even back in those days, so it's just multiplying torque to the rear axle. It's only rear-wheel drive. I rolled this truck 13 times one year, of which 12 times was testing. We had our own test track, and we would before every event, we'd do 100 laps just tuning the truck for the next course that we would go to. And of course, Toyota, with my teammate Ivan Stewart, who is quite a famous name in the US in terms of off-road racing, we dominated that series for several years. It would be nothing to go out with a truck looking like this, and at the end of an 8-lap race it would come back with no body work on, and it looked like it'd been beat to hell, but it really was all superficial. It just, everything Zeus's on, and we could, in an hour's time go back out to the next race looking in the same condition. Over to the right here was one of the first race vehicles I built. I finally got it back after 10 owners. It has the Ford Capri 3-litre V6 in it. So I use that for hill climbs and that in New Zealand here. So I could race it nearly every weekend somewhere as a hill climb vehicle. And then I'd put slicks on it. We would do club races at Pukekohe and tracks like that. So fun to get it back, and my brother-in-law restored that, and it's back to the condition that I raced it in. You know, if you look at the roll cage, it's galvanized pipe with clamps on it. And having said that, I did roll that once as well, so you know, it obviously was just about strong enough. Porsche Cayenne here in 2006 or 7, I think it was. Porsche entered 25 of these cars along with others in the Trans-Siberia race. It started in Moscow, so it went up into Siberia and ended up back down in Mongolia. It was 16 days. A bit like the Dakar rally. So Porsche North America asked me to drive this car, and lots of river crossings. In fact, the second last day there was 50 river crossings, so that's hence the snorkel. Some of the cars floated away, didn't make it all the way through. We got into the lead on the second last day and ended up winning it by 20 minutes. So the car went to the museum in Stuttgart. I went and did some testing with them the following year. My son drove this car the following year, my middle son Ryan. And after that event, I reached out to them and they allowed me to take it out of the museum and have it as part of my collection, which is great. My old Ford hay truck, I don't know how that got in here. But every now and then when we load stuff in the barns, we run out of space or forget to put it in one of the others.
Thank you for watching another video. It's been a pretty special one. Leadfoot Festival used to be an epic uphill festival of speed, hosted by the Millens, and pretty much is no more. So this is the only chance that anybody's really ever going to get a go to drive up Rod Millen's driveway. Thanks for watching, see you at the next video.